Welcome to noshbooks.com and welcome to Nosh Kitchen. I'm Joy May, author of Nosh for Students, Vegetarian Nosh for Students and a few others. You see a lovely homemade pavlova and you think, wow, that's amazing. It must be so difficult to make just because it looks so beautiful. But today we want to show you just how easy it is. I'm not one for rules in cooking, but there are just a couple of rules when you're making a pavlova. The first one is that you need a really squeaky clean bowl. If you have any grease on your bowl, your pavlova will not work. The other rule is to get eggs that are as fresh as you can. So if you know you're making a pavlova, go to the supermarket and find the freshest eggs that you can, and find quite big ones as well. All you need to make pavlova is egg whites and sugar. So first of all, we need to separate the egg whites from the egg yolks. So I'll just get a couple of mugs. This just makes it a lot easier. And then I'm going to put whites in one, yolks in the other. You can use the yolks for scrambled egg or something. So the way that I separate egg whites and yolks, there's lots of different ways to do it. Some people just do it with their hands, but this is the way I do it. Make a crack in the side of the egg. Let the egg white drip through. Keep swapping them over and over until you've just got egg yolk there. Pop it in there. Keep it for another day. And then put the egg whites in one at a time. Because if you happen to crack an egg and the egg yolk's already broken, you're putting all your egg whites into one mug, and then you've got a little bit of egg yolk. You've just spoiled 4 eggs rather than 1. I'm just using 4 eggs today. If you've got a big party, then you can use 6 or 8 eggs. You just need to double up the recipe. You don't need to have a big mixer like this. You do need something with a whisk. It's very difficult to do by hand, but you can do it with a little handheld mixer. So tip that in and turn this up to maximum and just leave the machine to do its work. Some people say that you can test it by turning the bowl upside down over your head, but I'm not going to do that today. But they need to look something like that, so they don't really move when you tip the bowl. Then for our recipe, we're just going to use a mug of sugar. In all of our books, we use mug measures just because it's much simpler. We do use a ½ pint mug, so it's not just any old mug. Just pop that out of the way. And then set your machine going, or if you're using a handheld whisk, start your machine going again. And just very slowly add the sugar. Just a little bit at a time. You just need to leave it to beat for a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And you'll see that it begins to go really glossy and thick. Just take a little bit of and rub it between your finger and your thumb, and you shouldn't be able to feel any sugar in there. The sugar should have dissolved. So when I rub that, the sugar's dissolved, so that's okay. Just wipe that. So then we need to get a tray and either put some greaseproof paper on the tray, but I always use these Teflon sheets. They're absolutely amazing. I've had them for ages and ages, and I just wash them and use them again. So useful. So just shake that off. There. And then again, make sure you've got a really clean spatula. And twist your thing and just tip it onto the tray. And you can see it stand up for itself a little bit. and then just make it into a round shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, sometimes the more rustic it is, the better. And if you're feeling like making some little swirls on it, you can do, just with the end of that. Okay, so then it's ready to go in the oven. I'll just take that bit off, won't waste that. It's ready to go into the oven. So I put that in the oven for 1 hour. It's 150 fan oven, 170 centigrade oven, regular 4 if you've got a gas oven. Yeah? So I can go off and have a cup of tea now. Okay, so now we need to whip some cream from the top. Now I generally don't whip cream with the big machines because you need to be really careful that you don't over whip the cream. So something like this is really useful. So for a pavlova that size, we probably want about half one of these. So there's about half. And then just keep whipping this, but we need to really keep our eye on it so that it doesn't very, very quickly it will overbeat. So as soon as it begins to thicken, we'll turn down the speed. Yeah. And then when it's about like that, take the beaters out and just finish it off by hand. It comes to like that. Yeah. So it's better to stop with the electric beaters earlier rather than later, because once it's gone really, really too far, then you can't do it. So just knock that off. And get our pavlova and spoon this very naughty cream on the top. Again, we can get a spatula to help this out. And just very carefully and gently, you can spread this cream out over the... And then get some kind of fruit. I've got strawberries today, but raspberries and strawberries all work really well together. Blueberries, any kind of fruit you like, really. And just pile all these on top. Now, if you've used strawberries or raspberries, I like to just grate a bit of white chocolate over the top. Just the flavour seems to go really well with raspberries and strawberries. So, just got 1 or 2 more. Let's see if I can manage to fit them on the top. There we go. Right, and find a bit of white chocolate. I have a box in my pantry which my grandchildren love. It's just full of chocolate. So just gets a little bit like that. Just gets a little bit like that. Just grate it. And there you have one very delicious looking pavlova. If you like pavlova really crisp and not gooey in the middle, then when you turn the oven off, leave the pavlova in the oven for a whole hour and let it cool down as the oven cools down, and then you get quite a crisp pavlova. But I quite like pavlova that's a bit like marshmallow in the inside. So I just leave it in for a quarter of an hour as the oven's cooling down, and then take it out and let it cool down outside, and it's not still cooking. But really, it's up to you. So have a go yourself and see how easy it is, and it's absolutely delicious. So from all of us at the Nosh Kitchen, it's goodbye for now, and enjoy cooking. Hope to see you again soon.